It's just kind of who I am. I want to pour into my team as much as possible, and I'm pretty in tune with my body. I can read a room pretty well, and so when I see we're lacking a little bit, you got to step up. But if we're good, you're just there to encourage and give people confidence.
There was a recent seismic change in the world of women's basketball. It did not occur on the hardwood for once. The sports world froze when word leaked out that Caitlin Clark had officially signed a multi-year contract with NBC Universal to become a special contributor for their basketball coverage. This was more than a novice signing a typical sponsorship. This was an adversarial takeover of the media narrative. Clark clearly conveyed to the world that she can continue to be the greatest figure in sports without the approval of the WNBA or participation in their brand new unparalleled summer league. However, one player chose to break ranks as the WNBA establishment replied with their customary frigid silence. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel Hoops Uncovered. Believe it or not, more than 85% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So, did you subscribe already? Great. Thank you so much for your support. Now, back to the video. The Phoenix Mercury actress Sophie Cunningham, who is often portrayed as the antagonist in Clark's tale, seems to have had enough of the pretense. Cunningham has taken aim at the hypocrisy that is destroying the league from the inside out in a number of actions and remarks that have gone unnoticed by the mainstream media. She is revealing the internal politics, financial foolishness, and envy that are endangering the greatest golden goose the sport has ever seen. You must comprehend the seriousness of what Caitlin Clark just accomplished in order to understand why Sophie Cunningham is becoming impatient. For many years, WNBA players had a predetermined script. The league does not pay enough for a superstar to live comfortably. So, after the season, you fly abroad to Russia, Turkey, or China to work for a living. Or, more lately, you give in to peer pressure and sign up for the league-approved off-season camps. Clark grabbed the script and tossed it in the garbage. She will make her debut at Madison Square Garden and appear on Sunday Night Football and Big Ten's Saturday night programs after joining NBC. However, she will not be sweating over a lost ball while wearing a jersey. She will be sitting close to legends like Carmelo Anthony and Vince Carter while wearing a blazer. No female basketball player has ever attained this degree of mainstream inclusion so early in her career. She is presenting herself as a peer to the top male sportsmen in the world in addition to being a WNBA player. Additionally, the WNBA league office's silence says a lot. They are aware that they are losing control over her. Sophie Cunningham is responding precisely to that fearful quiet. The intrigue surrounding the new unparalleled league serves as the setting for this eruption. Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier, two huge talents and high-ranking officials in the WNBA Players Association, formed this 3-on-3 competition. They allegedly offered Clark over $1 million in league shares and a contract structure like to Lionel Messi's Miami contract as part of their relentless courtship. There was a great deal of pressure. Behind the scenes, there was a narrative that said Clark was not supporting the sisterhood if she did not join. It was anticipated that she would leverage her notoriety to increase their league's revenue. When Clark declined and went with NBC instead, the old guard circles were quite resentful. They saw it as a betrayal. However, the plot takes a turn at this point. Having been around the block, Sophie Cunningham recognizes the scenario as a wise business decision. Cunningham is aware of a possible conflict of interest in the unparalleled league. A strange, unpleasant power dynamic is created when active players manage a league and coerce additional players to join. Clark demonstrated that she cannot be bought or intimidated by defying such demand. For the last year, the media has attempted to create a blood feud between Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. In an attempt to portray Cunningham as the enforcer sent to humiliate the rookie, they repeat the recordings of physical assaults, trash talk, and hard screens. Indeed, Sophie is a tough, physical player. Her brand is that. Off the court, however, Sophie is among the league's most astute business women. Cunningham was the one who remained honest when other veterans were busy disparaging podcasts or saying Clark was not that talented. Cunningham publicly acknowledged during the charter flight controversy that Caitlin Clark was the sole reason they were no longer operating commercial flights. She disproved the idea that the league was expanding naturally. Where credit was due, she gave it. The league that is content to accept the money Clark makes, but will not treat her with the respect she deserves, seems to be the source of her latest displeasure. Cunningham is effectively asking, "Are you people serious?" as he surveys the dressing rooms. She sees the new TV agreements, the sold-out venues, and the chartered flights, and she knows precisely who wrote the check. Cunningham's response to the NBC News is crucial because of this. Her hatred is what the media wants her to be. They want to hear her admit that Clark does not deserve the NBC slot, but Cunningham will not give it to them. Rather, the system and the critics are the targets of her outburst. She is aware that everyone benefits from increasing Cs. When the season begins, more people will watch the WNBA if Caitlin Clark becomes a huge media figure on NBC. Cunningham is revealing the short-sightedness of the resentful players. She seems to be saying, "Let her receive the bag since that bag ultimately benefits us too." This violates the veterans' customary rule of silence. Even when they are incorrect, WNBA players often remain together in public. Cunningham is defying authority to support common sense, and it is a revolutionary deed in the cliquey world of the WNBA. Let us examine Cunningham's unintentional exposure of the Mean Girls Society in more detail. Legends like Sheryl Swoopes have attempted to use fictitious statistics to remove Clark's records from the annals of history. During the Team USA selection process, we saw the unpleasant freeze-outs. Clark is the target of a tangible force that says, "You cannot sit with us." By accepting the NBC offer, Clark purchased the whole restaurant rather than simply finding a new table. It seems that only Cunningham finds the irony amusing. Cunningham is out there enjoying her best life, apparently unaffected by Clark's triumph, while other players are posting cryptic comments about loyalty and grind on social media. Her attitude serves as a stark reminder of how insignificant the rest of the league is. Sophie's unwillingness to join the hate train is often the cause of her explosions. She discusses the game. She discusses business. She won't, however, belittle the youngster who is covering the league's expenses. Money speaks, and Caitlin Clark is screaming right now. Since this is what really fuels the envy Cunningham is pointing out, we must discuss the statistics. In the WNBA, the highest compensation is around $250,000. Even if the Super League was paying well, physical labor was still necessary. Playing basketball at a Miami training camp, taking a chance on injury, and working hard. Rumor has it that she does not have to work hard for the NBC agreement, and the remuneration is enormous and probably dwarfs her WNBA income. She gets to develop her brand while sitting in a studio and analyzing the game she loves. Cunningham sees the brilliance in this, having had to struggle for every contract she has obtained. When she witnesses other players behaving as like Clark owes them anything, her rage bursts. During the off-season, Clark managed to earn millions without ruining her figure. It is not a betrayal. It is the blueprint. Rather than making disparaging remarks, Cunningham is essentially telling the other players to take notes. Cunningham has skirted the darker side of this tale. The president and vice president of the Players Association established the unrivaled league. There are rumors and whispers, of course, conjecture, that celebrities are under tremendous political pressure to join that league in order to support the union leadership's commercial endeavor. Clark ran the risk of upsetting the union's leaders by refusing. This game is risky. Cunningham, who has always been a self-reliant thinker, probably recognizes this as hypocritical. If the union representatives are also Clark's employers during the off-season, how can they act in her best interests? It is a disorganized web of disputes. Cunningham often indicates that the public story differs from the private politics when she speaks out about being honest. She is aware that there was more to Clark's rejection of Unrivaled than merely scheduling. It has to do with freedom. Cunningham also values liberty. The league's separate locker rooms have been the subject of rumors and sources all year. There are the traditionalists who believe the game was okay prior to her arrival and the Clark loyalists who are mostly younger players or business-savvy veterans who understand the vision. Sophie Cunningham is in a special position. She has served in the military. She belongs to the established order and is harsh. She will not be blind, however. Her explosion disrupts the echo chamber in the locker room. She aggressively undermines the tactics of those who want to see Clark fail when she conducts interviews and refuses to incite racial or generational conflict. She is demonstrating that you do not have to be a bitter hater off the court to be a tough competitor on it. Cunningham has repeatedly violated our obligation to hold the media responsible. The Sophie Hates Caitlin storyline is profitable for networks like ESPN and even social media aggregators. They upload a video of a hard bird with no background information and write bad blood in the description. However, observe the exchanges that follow the whistle. Observe the handshakes after the game. Respect for one another exists there. Cunningham is regaining control of her own image by her current outburst against the storylines. She will not allow the media to exploit her as a pawn in their assault on Clark. She destroys the media's script by refusing to play the antagonist in relation to the NBC News. They wanted her to feel upset about Clark receiving airtime. Rather, she is taking care of herself and getting ready for the season, which essentially validates Clark's actions since game recognizes game. The cards have always been in favor of the WNBA. They are in charge of the exposure, the scheduling, and the penalties. However, Clark has a platform with NBC that may be bigger than the WNBA. The most popular show in America is Sunday Night Football. Millions of people will hear if Clark brings up a WNBA issue during that broadcast. Her loud hailer is now uncensored by the league. The traditional CEOs are scared of this. Sophie Cunningham understands the importance of this power since she has already fought with league politics and officiating. Her position in favor of the players' right to maximize their worth is consistent with Clark's action. The notion that players should submit to the league is causing Cunningham to blow up. She is the epitome of the contemporary athlete, bold, stylish, and self-aware. Instead of feeling envious, she feels justified when she witnesses Clark using that advantage. If players have the courage to employ it, it demonstrates their strength. The elephant in the room is unavoidable. A significant portion of the conversation on Clark has been racial. There have been claims that her demography is the only reason for her success, and on the other hand, that the hostility she faces is racially driven. It is a poisonous, polarizing mess. This has caught Sophie Cunningham in the crossfire and led to accusations that she is aiming after Clark. However, by concentrating on basketball, Cunningham has continuously refuted these racial baiting tales. She often rejects these social think pieces with her eruption. Instead of seeing Clark as a symbol, she treats him like a basketball player. Cunningham highlights the ridiculousness of identity politics-obsessed critics by putting aside the noise and concentrating on the business and the game. All she wants is to hoop and make money. She observes Clark acting in a similar manner. Does the unparalleled league lose its luster now that Clark is out? Most likely. The organizers are aware of this. That is the source of the resentment. They depended on the Caitlin Clark stimulus plan to guarantee their TV rights and ticket sales. They are simply another upstart league without her. It is crucial that Cunningham acknowledge this fact. She is aware that the economics become considerably more difficult in the absence of the Golden Kid. When she hears players criticizing Clark, she probably becomes enraged since she is aware that those same players were hoping she would join their league in order to increase their salaries. It is the height of hypocrisy. Please come salvage our company, even if we do not like you. Cunningham is too astute to ignore it without rolling her eyes. The dynamic has changed as we anticipate the next WNBA season. With the support of a significant media company, Clark will return to the Indiana Fever not just as a sophomore point guard, but also as an NBC commentator. She is going to be untouchable. The time for hazing has ended. The war went to her. Sophie Cunningham is aware of this. Her technique of adjusting to the new world is via her eruption and unwillingness to participate in the pettiness. Be on board or be left behind, she is saying to the rest of the league. The participants who harbor resentment are engaged in a conflict they have already lost. The intended antagonist in this film was Sophie Cunningham. The media portrayed her as the rival, the physical enforcer, and the enemy. However, with Caitlin Clark's huge NBC revelation, Cunningham has become something far more intriguing, a truth teller. While Clark turned down their 3-on-3 league in favor of the bright lights of network television, the rest of the WNBA waits in envious quiet. Cunningham has been honest. She has shown the hypocrisy of a league that despises Clark's power, but adores her wealth. The false narratives and poor business acumen of her contemporaries have caused her to blow up. She has shown that she is not Clark's adversary by doing this. She just appreciates the effort and is a competitor. The game has never been the same thanks to Caitlin Clark. And it seems that only Sophie Cunningham has the courage to say it out. The WNBA has an option. They have two options. Either they listen to Sophie, swallow their pride, and see the grandeur that is happening in front of them, or they continue to be resentful. However, given this league, the drama is far from over. Please share your thoughts in the comment section, subscribe to Hoops Uncovered, and enable all notifications so you don't miss anything. We'll see you in the next one after you click the video on the screen.